Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about the 2020 elections, not just the presidential election, but just the biggest surprises of the 2020 election. We're going to do 5 of these. So, just so you guys know, I'm not going to be posting as much for the next 2 weeks until the beginning of January because of because I'm in Utah right now, and I don't have too much time on my hands. I'm skiing, obviously, but it's hard to, uh, you know, make videos while you're on vacation in just in that setting. So let's get started. I'm just gonna try to make this as brief as I can because I'm gonna have to edit this video as well afterwards, and I don't have a ton of time on my hands, like I said. So yes, we're gonna do the 5 biggest surprises of the 2020 election, and we're gonna start with number five. So we're gonna go 5 to 1. So starting with number five. Number five would be a certain district of Nebraska, and this was, I had Donald Trump losing Nebraska's second district by a lean margin, so I think I said Biden was going to win by 3 to 4%. He ended up winning by like 7, so that was a big surprise, mostly because of how well Biden did, and you'd also think that if he did so well in Nebraska's second district, winning it by 7, he'd probably be winning or making at least Iowa certainly closer than he actually made it. He lost Iowa by 8. Like if you told me, hey UEP, from the future, Biden's going to win Nebraska's second district by 7%. What does Iowa look like? I probably would have said maybe Biden wins Iowa by 1% or loses it by 1%. So that was interesting, especially just because, the Rust Belt obviously flipped to Joe Biden, but the areas surrounding it, like Ohio, Iowa, and Missouri, for the most part, did not narrow up. They all narrowed up a little bit from 2016 by like 1 to 2%, but they didn't narrow up as much as we thought. Now, number 4 on my list for biggest surprises is the state of Florida, and the fact that it went to Donald Trump by so much. I did have Donald Trump winning Florida by until March, and I said it was going to be very close. I said it was probably going to be within 1%, and I was wrong about that. Donald Trump won Florida by a lean margin, meaning that he won it by 3.3%, which was huge. And now, just taking a look at my reasoning for putting Florida as tilt red. Well, I said, okay, Biden's going to do better in the suburbs. I think he's going to flip Duval County, and I think he's going to flip Pinellas County. I also, at the time, thought he was going to win St. Lucie County. And I thought he'd improve on Clinton's numbers in the Panhandle and just do better upstate. However, I thought he'd do worse in the big 3 Democratic counties, which are Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. And I thought he was going to do a little worse than Clinton, but he did so. For example, Miami-Dade, which is the biggest county in Florida, Clinton won by 29%. I think I had Biden winning by like 15 to 20%. Hillary Clinton won the county by 29, Biden won by 7. So that was absolutely shocking. And just the fact that Miami-Dade, like a 30-point Hillary Clinton county, was competitive, like only a 7-point Biden county, is completely insane, and that's why Biden lost Florida. He got the numbers he needed. Like, he won Duval County. He won Pinellas County. He did lose St. Lucie County, but he did better than Clinton in a lot of these areas, especially in the Panhandle. And he got a lot of these senior voters on his side, or better than Clinton did, that's for sure. And he still couldn't win Florida. He lost by 3% because of his abysmal performance in Miami-Dade County. So that's why it was such a big surprise. I just, like, I've been saying for a while that Biden's bad polling with Hispanics could hurt him in a state like Nevada, for example. And I didn't want to talk about Florida Hispanics because they're so hard to analyze. But really, I knew he was going to do worse than Clinton in Miami-Dade, but I didn't know he'd do that worse. Just the Hispanics really came out for Trump, and especially the Cubans. He won the Cuban vote this year. So, yeah. Now, moving on to number 3, that is just going to go a little north to the state of Georgia. Georgia was another big surprise because of Biden winning it, and also just because of how well the Democrats did there. The Republican Party of Georgia did not have a good election cycle this year. And I said that, Stacey Abrams, she came within 1.4% of beating Brian Kemp. I think that realistically that's the best Biden can do. And I said Biden was going to lose by 3 or 4% in Georgia. I was proven wrong. He won the state by only, I think by only 14,000 votes. So it was very close, but still, he won the state, and it helped him. And it's especially important because the Democrats have 2 Senate runoffs that are going very well for them. Now, I'm hesitant to say that they're going to win those seats, but they are doing better than they should be. And, this could be an illusion. On November 2nd, I said that the Democrats are overachieving at the Senate level, yet they lost essentially every single toss-up race unless you're Real Clear Politics, which considers Colorado a toss-up. But we all knew that Colorado and Arizona would flip, and we all knew that Alabama would flip. We did not know that Iowa, Montana, North Carolina, Maine especially, and we're going to get to that later in the video, we did not know that those seats were all going to stay red. So, yeah. Now, going back to Georgia, though. Democrats in Georgia, they did very well. They had high black turnout. They also did better in the suburbs of Atlanta, which are pretty big. And just generally, they were able to create a base of voters that they haven't been able to create in like 30 years, or 20 years rather, more like 25 years, since the 1990s with Bill Clinton. So that's how they were able to win Georgia. And this came as a shock because I thought that the Republicans would have abysmally high rejection rates of mail-in ballots or absentee ballots that they claimed would be fraudulent. They actually had very low rejection rates, which I thought was interesting. And no, it doesn't mean there's fraud. The rejection rate in Georgia was the same as the rejection rate in Florida. So I don't want to hear about that. But Georgia, the rejection rate was lower than I expected, a lot lower than I expected. And also, just generally speaking, I thought that the Republicans were just going to be able to get voters out, and they weren't able to because the black vote came out for Biden better than the white vote did for Trump. So, yeah. Now, number 2 on my list, I think, is another one in Florida. So we're just going to if you're listening, two on Florida. So Florida, number 2 would be in Florida's 27th congressional district, where Donna Shalala lost re-election. I had this as a likely Democratic seat. I said Shalala was going to win by like 6 or 7 or 8. She ended up losing by like 3%, essentially mirroring Biden's performance. Now, this is a swing district. I mean, in 2016, Carlos Curbelo was the Republican, and he won re-election in 2016. That was only 4 years ago. But in 2018, Donna Shalala was able to beat, I think, was it? I'm not sure, but he was able to flip the seat and win this election. And I thought, she's popular. She was the former president of Miami University, and I thought she'd be able to win just because of her popularity. And I know she's not, super inspiring. She's a boring candidate, that's for sure. But I just thought she'd be able to hold and get, have a lot of these split ticket Trump Shalala voters, primarily Cubans, who are going to vote for her. That didn't happen. Maria Elvira Salazar, I think that's her name, was able to win the seat, and that was the end of Donna Shalala's career in the House, or unless she decides to run again, which she might, but I don't think she's going to. So Shalala losing was definitely a big surprise, especially because the limited polls that we had there had her up. And most election forecasters, even on the right, said that the Republicans were not going to win the seat. The only seat that I considered competitive, the only seat that I thought the Republicans had a good chance at flipping in Florida was the 26th district, where, and they did flip that seat. That was, of course, I forgot her name now. It's Debbie Marcos Powell. My bad. She was running against Carlos Jimenez, who was the popular former mayor of Miami. So I thought that she had a chance at losing. She ended up losing, by the way. But I didn't think that other district, the 27th district with Donna Shalala, was going to flip. So now the number one big surprise. You know what it is, guys. It's Maine. Susan Collins winning re-election. No one saw this coming. I saw like one prediction that had Collins winning for every 10 predictions I saw that had her losing. I just thought that there wouldn't be enough split ticket voting because it just in such a polarized environment. I thought the Democrats, they didn't really run a bad enough campaign to make Maine stay red. But at the end, Susan Collins won re-election by 8%, and she did it very convincingly because of her campaign she ran. She ran saying, our senator, Sarah Gideon is a liberal transplant from New York who's trying to beat our senator who's been fighting for Maine for decades and decades. So that worked apparently on Maine voters, and they decided to vote for her, sending her to re-election. She did worse than she did in 2014 and 2008, but still, she won re-election to the Senate, and I really do think that was the biggest surprise, especially because of ranked choice voting. I thought that ranked choice voting was actually going to screw her over if it came down to it, but she won with ranked choice voting, so that was a big surprise to me. So thank you all for watching this video. I know I kind of made this shorter than I would have liked to, but yeah, I mean, Colorado was another big surprise, I guess you could say, for being so solid for the Democrats. That's essentially it. I mean, the election was actually not as surprising as I expected. I'm probably forgetting something, so there's probably some congressional races, but I mean, Kansas and Montana were kind of surprises because they weren't that close. I mean, Kansas I knew was going to go to Marshall by like 6 or 7, but Montana I actually is a pure toss-up. So Yeah, but thank you all for watching this video. I'm going to go now and edit this video so I can post as soon as I can. But thank you all, and see you all in the next one. Have a great Christmas. It's coming up soon. Bye.